We're on.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Mr. P here, coming to you live from Luxembourg City in my apartment at this point, 9 p.m. on Monday evening, here with the one and only Mr. Glenn Ackerman. So, quick intro about this man. I met him, about 2 years ago. I was living in LA, and I was in this whole journey of personal development, trying to become successful and trying to make money, live in Hollywood, blah, 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 etc. Everyone's on the same journey, right? Young men at around the age of 20. And my boss at the time, I was working for Real Social Dynamics, a very successful company. And my boss at the time kept saying how out of all the books he's read, out of all the trainings he's taken, there was one private coaching, two actually, that impacted him the most. And he happened to do this private coaching for over 5 years. And one day he brought me to that coaching session, which was at 7 p.m. on Wednesday at the Grove. And I ended up walking to a room with Mr. Ackerman over here. And it was honestly, from the moment on, you could feel the energy in the room. So I ended up sitting there, listened, came back the next week. And the next week in the beginning, I didn't really understand what he was speaking about. But after 3-4 sessions, I got it to the point where I became obsessed. So left LA, bought level 1 course, got the level 2 course, started studying the work. And since then, I think that's been about 1.5 years. I've been doing it on and off, been consistent with it almost on a daily basis since October. And honestly, nothing has changed my life. If I had to point one single thing, I would definitely put it to the breath. It's such a simple technique that I started personally doing, that completely shifted my feeling, if that makes sense. I felt much better on a daily basis, and as a result, things just started manifesting to me much easier. It took less effort to do something. It took less effort to close a contract. It took less effort to work with the club or to get the deal done. Everything just happened much smoother. So before we go into introducing and understanding what the breath is and how energy awareness works, it's important to look into what I was doing before, which was I was having to personal development, reading all these books, reading all the seminars. I don't know how many. I probably spent maybe around 7-8 courses in my life, and spent quite a bit of money on them. None of them were as effective as something as simple as being able to move your energy. And that's when I started realizing that understanding how to move energy and how to spot energy, what is high vibration, what is low vibration, and being able to see it in different situations, events, people, and able to use it to benefit yourself and the others, is how I started experiencing life to the fullest. And I'm very happy that I have the honor and privilege to be here with a man who taught me all these things, and I'm very grateful to be his friend, a mentee, and forever student. So quick thing, before we go into the details of exactly how energy awareness works, what high vibration is, what low vibration is, just a quick introduction from your side, Glenn. Tell us a bit about your story. Personally, I know that my old boss back then told me that you were coached by someone who was a very special person that was very old and had very ancient wisdom. I don't remember his name, but he said something about a master or I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear more about your story. Tell us a bit about where you came from. How did you come to energy awareness? What made you so passionate about it? And how you see it in the future impacting the world, and how we can benefit from it on a day-to-day basis.
Thanks, P. I really appreciate you asking me to be here and to talk about the work, and thanks for all the positive outcome and results that you've gotten. That's correct. That's terrific. So let me just back up a little bit and talk about where I came from, because I think that's really important. You know, like many of you out there, I had a challenging upbringing in that I had to deal in a family situation with a lot of anxiety and stress and emotional tension. And that had an effect on me to where, I left home. I mean, I had a great mom and dad, but they were very stressed out, and they took that stress out in the family, and I could feel it affecting me. I could feel this negativity. I could feel this. I didn't even know what to call it then. Now I call it an energy, but I didn't know what to call it back then. And even though I left that situation that energy didn't leave me. That anxiety and that stress and that worry didn't leave me. So I went out in the world, maybe like what you just said, to go and make my fortune, to get rich and find my dream girl and all those things. And yet I noticed that there was this energy inside me that was getting in the way of doing that. I'd take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I'd get closer. I'd be here and I wanted to be here. And I'd start getting close and getting close and getting close. And then something would start to pull me back. I get closer and something was trying to pull me back. And I thought, what is this? So I thought, well, there's probably something wrong with me. I thought, I got this voice in my head that's always trying to put me down or trying to, be negative or trying to scare me. And everybody else out there looks so normal. They don't have that. I don't think they have that voice, but it must be just me. So I thought, well, I got to improve myself. I got to do something about this. So I dove into personal development, hook, line, and sinker, and took every course, seminar, workshop, training I could get my hands on that had anything to do with being able to change or develop yourself or heal yourself. And I became an expert at many of these courses and disciplines to the point where I started teaching some of them out in the marketplace. But even though each one helped a little bit, it didn't overcome the issues that I knew were there, and that I knew where I was and I knew what I was capable of being, and there was such a gap in between. So, through this process, and this was a good 20-year process, because I started as a teenager, I realized that I had different teachers in different disciplines. Some of them were in the scientific discipline. Some of them were in the spiritual discipline. Some of them were connecting both science and spirituality. And one of them was an energy master who started the Pranic Healing Foundation named Master Choa Koksui, who took a personal interest in me. And unfortunately, he's no longer on the planet. But one of the things that he showed me was how the upper worlds work, that there's higher dimensions in life, and we can't tap into them with the same consciousness that we have in what I call the third dimensional world. So we have a world here that all of us know, the world that we live in. We go to work, we go to sleep, we eat, we have friends, kind of like what we do. And yet so much of it is a mystery. How did we get where we are? Why are we in the situation we're in? Why does my life feel stuck, etc.? And what he revealed to me is that there's a whole another world outside, for lack of a better world, an energetic world that affects this world. So it's not that, everything that we're seeing here came from the unseen worlds. You and I came from the unseen world. Before we were born, we didn't exist, but our mother and father had a great time one Saturday night, and 9 months later we showed up. So everything that is seen comes from the unseen. And that's very important to recognize, because here we are trying to solve our problems, and many of them we can't figure out what to do. So I recognized that all of the stuff that I had done before, while it was all good stuff, the seminars and the trainings and all this stuff, that they were missing out. So what I use the analogy of the iceberg. You've heard that before. 10% above the water you can see, 90% below the water you can't see. And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the 10% it could see. It was sunk by the 90% that it couldn't see. So I have a saying in my teaching that say, that which we can see, we can control. But that which we can't see controls us. And this was the missing part of the puzzle. And that is, I was trying to make changes, and most of us are trying to make changes with our will. We're trying to force it and trying to change. And by and large, in the personal development and the self-help industry, only 3% of the people succeed. 97% of the people don't succeed. So they go get another book, or they go do another training, or they go, find another sweat lodge or something else to do. And that continues the process. Well, I recognized that the real missing part was the understanding and the application of viewing our world as an energetic world and using this energy, the energy within us and the energy that's all around us, to be able to go deeper into whatever our problem is. Because no matter what it is that we're doing, we're involved with energy. This is an energetic world we live in. Everything that we see, the air that we can see or can't see, the sunlight, our bodies, the computer, the table, all of these things are molecules in motion. And there's certain laws that govern how this energy works. And no one ever told us. So here we are as human beings. What do we want? Well, one of the things we want is a great relationship. Okay. Well, that's an energetic exchange. And as we look for solutions to these things, relationships, health, career, money, etc., below the surface, below that 10% is the energetic aspects of how these things work. And that's the 90%. So one of the reasons why people have issues, and an issue I classify as a problem or a situation that you've been working on and trying to change and trying to improve, but it just doesn't. It's like a recurring pattern. And those recurring patterns take place because we're energetically stuck in those patterns. We want to think positive and we try to act, but until we move energy, until the energy moves, there's going to be no change. And for most of us, when we've had problems, what do? Well, we talk to somebody about it, or we get advice, or we resolve that we're going to do better. But by and large, it's pretty darn hard to change, because the change only comes when the energy moves. So like I mentioned, everything that we're doing in life, we're having an energetic exchange. You can't not live in this planet and not be involved with energy every day. Relationships, you're getting along with someone, good energy. Not getting along, bad energy. Money is flowing in, you're doing great at your job, good energy. You're not doing good at your job, money's tight, flowing, lack, limitation, bad energy. Health, you feel fantastic, you're in good shape, good energy. Your health is not doing well, or you're challenged in some physical problem, not doing good. So it's amazing to me that when I discovered and became energetically aware that everything we're dealing with in our lives is an energetic exchange. And if you don't know how energy works, and you don't know that energy has a power, it has a purpose, it has a frequency, it has a direction, it gives off information. So everything that we're dealing with is an energetic exchange. And if you're energetically aware, you can see things most people can't see. You can know things most people don't know, and you're able to take actions that most people don't take because they can't see. They're only seeing the 10%, like the iceberg. They're seeing the 10%. In the work that I do, I teach you how to access the other 90%, so that you can fill in the gaps of the questions of why is this happening, and why can't I do this, and why can't I have this, and all of those questions. The source and the answer to all of them is energetic. So that's where I came from, the background, the people that I studied. And as I continued in the work and discovered energy medicine and energy psychology and put that together with the energetic teachings I got from my teachers. And I've had multiple teachers, been fortunate to have that. I was able to create a new system, a new method, a new paradigm called energy awareness training. And I call it that because it makes us aware that there's so much more we're capable of doing. There's so much more we can access, because the high vibrational energies are unlimited. So when I discovered energy awareness training, the first thing I did is I used it on myself. And finally, I was able to get that stuff out and gone, the issues handled, and it was a new lease on life, abundance, blessings, health, but most important, peace, inner peace, the ability to be peaceful and to be at peace with myself and be at peace with the voices in my head. And as I was able to achieve that, I started helping other people too. And it just kind of, just took off by itself, and people requested to work with me. So I opened an office here in West Hollywood, and we're seeing a lot of people in the entertainment, in the business industries, the sports industries here, high-powered people who are looking for the cutting edge, the next big thing in personal development. And as a result of that work, I met the guy you were working with, and we became good friends. And the work just started growing exponentially. And that's what we're doing here. I'm just here to get the word out that the work that I do, energy awareness training, is two purposes. One, to end emotional suffering, emotional pain, emotional stress, emotional trauma, all that stuff, because most of it, 90% of it, is unnecessary. So when you have energetic tools and you're facing a stressful situation, if you use the tools, you can protect yourself against that stress, that anxiety, that worry, that fear, and eventually neutralize that so it's not even there anymore. And then the next thing we do in energy awareness training is to give people the freedom to achieve their full potential and to do what you're here to do. And I think everybody here, I believe, has a gift. Everybody here is something that they can contribute, something that makes them great. And in this training, you find out what it is, and you're transformed, so to speak, into a new way of being.
Beautiful introduction. Thank you for sharing. And there's a few points I want to touch on. So I think the first one, which was great, is the fact that I relate with that. I think the most that I was always trying to change by doing personal development and reading the books and doing the courses and working on improving my resilience and my hard work and my discipline and my willpower and working harder and waking up earlier and sleeping earlier and not drinking coffee or not all these things. And it's kind of what you said is like you work on the 10%. So no matter how much you work on, even if you are the best at it, it doesn't really bring to the overall picture as much as working on energy. Because I think as you said, when you go to energy, you move to deeper, more like subconscious or unconscious, and then you're able to change more. So that's brilliant. I thought cool. So now question, would you say that then the goal is to have as much energy as possible? How would you define energy? How can one be able to recognize how energy works? What is it? And how can I understand which kind of energy I should use? Right. I should be in.
Boy, those are super questions. So, well, let me start this way. When I'm talking about our energy, okay, I'm talking about, there's not one thing. When I'm talking about energy in terms of personal development, I'm talking about our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our behaviors. Okay, that's what I'm talking about their energy, because the energy affects your thoughts. Energy affects your feelings, your emotions, and your behaviors. Now, the thing that you want to understand is that the energy has a power. Every energetic exchange has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So when you become energetically aware, you're opening your senses to be able to perceive more. So, for example, you meet someone new. How you doing? Nice to meet you. You know, you're on one level, you're being polite and nice, but you're also gathering information. See, we are energetic sending and receiving vehicles. We're energetic beings. All of us are energetic beings, and we're constantly sending out energy, and we're receiving the energy too. So when you recognize that the energy is constantly communicating to you, it's constantly giving you information, it's constantly showing you what direction it's going into and what the frequency is. And if you can read these frequencies and these vibrations, and you have a fundamental understanding of how energy works in in terms of energy awareness training, that gives you a real decided advantage over people who don't, because all of us here in our lives, every day we're trying to have a better life. Every day we're trying to make decisions. We need to make decisions about what we eat, about what we spend our time with, or who we associate with, or what career goals we're going to make. Constantly making decisions, trying to figure out the right thing to do. Now, what do we make decisions on? Usually what we can see and what we can hear and what we can feel. But a lot of times we make the wrong decision. A lot of times we get involved in stuff that we wanted it to be good, but it didn't. It turned out to not be what we wanted. Like relationships, for example. Sometimes it starts out great. You think, wow, this is a great person. And then over time it changes. And then it becomes the exact opposite of what you wanted it to be. And you go, oh, why did I get involved? Why did I get involved in this thing? And then you look at it, after it's over and you think, oh, if only I had known then what I know now, I never would have done that. Or I never would have invested in that thing, or I never would have moved into that place. So my question to you is, well, why didn't you know then? I hear a lot of people say, coming out of relationships and they're going through the heartbreak process and they go, you know what? There was a voice inside me that said, I don't get involved with her. Don't do it. Don't get involved. But I did it anyway. And I say to them, why didn't you listen to that voice? And they go, I don't know. Well, see, this is the power of energy awareness training, because it doesn't do you any good, to know the right thing after you've already stepped in the trap or made the wrong decision. Now you're suffering. You don't want that. What's valuable to you is to be able to see the potential situation before you get involved with it, to be able to see how a relationship was going to go, or how an investment's going to go, or how a job's going to go. This is what I call a superpower. And if you're energetically aware, you can know the future. In other words, you can know what the tendency of something is to happen. And that's powerful. And that's the contribution that I want to make. If you're energetically aware, you can read the signs of what's good for you and what's not good for you. And you go, okay, I don't have to step into this trap, for me to get my lesson. I can see what's going to happen beforehand, and I can choose wisely. And I think that's probably the most important thing that people recognize, because this world that we live in, one of the things that I teach in energy awareness training is energetic laws. And in this energetic world that we live in, one of the energetic laws I teach is that we live in a world that's not always what it seems to be. Sometimes it seems to be, it's what it seems to be, and other times it's not. Whether it's people we get involved in, or jobs, or situations. So we constantly are coming in and out of illusion, okay? And if you can't recognize what's real and what's illusion, or what's potential illusion, you're going to make mistakes. And that's where our suffering comes from the mistakes we made, from wanting things to be a certain way and they turn out to be others. So, when people ask me, what's the advantage of energy awareness training, I say, it's like having X-ray vision. You're able to see things in a deeper and a higher dimension, and understand where things are going, or what the potential there is. And that comes from, again, knowing that energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction. It gives you off information. And that's valuable information for whatever it is you want to do. Relationships, health, money, career, etc. will help you dramatically.
I love that. Energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, and a direction. Direction. There we go.
And it gives you energy. So if you think about that for a minute, in terms of getting to know someone, a lot of young guys are looking for a girlfriend or looking for a wife, and same thing. Many women are looking for a good boyfriend or a husband. But how can you choose? That's one of the most important decisions that we make. So most of us, at least what I used to do, I said, well, seems good. They seem to be a nice person, and we seem to be getting along, and everything's going
Looks
okay.
good.
Well, let's go for it. And then so you get into this thing, and it isn't until you're in hook, line, and sinker that all of a sudden, at times, things shift, and all of a sudden things start to happen that you didn't see right away, or you didn't see coming in. And a lot of times, we hope relationships work out, but here in the USA and in the Western Hemisphere, 50% of all marriages end in divorce. So that means 1 out of 2 people make the wrong decision. Okay, so what would it be like if you could know what the tendency is for that relationship? Remember, I said it has a power. Energy is a power. You bet it does. It has a frequency. It has a certain level of where it comes in. It has a purpose. And I guess we'll talk about how the energies, the descriptions of the energies, but there's some energies that want the best for you, and there's some energies that want to take you down. So if you don't know which is which, you can easily fall into the energies that are potentially dangerous or potentially would take you in the direction you don't want to go. And information. See, when you're getting to know someone, whether it's relationship or professionally, they're constantly giving you information, not just verbally, but non-verbally also. The experts say that in a communication process, the process only makes up about 15% of the words we say, and 90% of the energy that we give off, of the posture, of the tonality, of the eye contact. That's what I call energy, the energy that you portray. So this is so important, and yet we were never taught these things. To make it more simply, none of us were ever taught on how to deal with upsetting emotions. We were never taught on how to deal with disappointment. We were never taught how to deal with rejection. None of us were pretty much, when I grew up, they just said, suck it up, man. Just be a man and just take it. Well, these energies that we're finding out, they don't just come and go. These energies have a tendency to stay and stick with us. Well, I can go over that a little bit later when we talk about research. But so this is one of the reasons why, people, for example, get abused when they're 5 years old. Go through some form of abuse or some kind of upsetting emotions or some trauma, and they still feel it 50 years later. Isn't time supposed to heal all wounds? No, time doesn't. Time covers up all wounds. But whatever is in us, if it was an intense emotional experience, that energy, according to the latest studies, stays with us. And is an energetic entity all its own that has to be released or dissolved or at least processed in order for us to be able to get rid of those issues. And I know that in my journey, I processed a lot of stuff coming up that I wasn't even aware of. And that's the opportunity for everybody because we all got stuff. If you're a human being walking around this earth, you're recovering from something, somewhere, and we don't even know it yet. So when you become aware of the energy, you can dissolve the stuff you don't want and keep the energies that you do want. And when you do that, you're feeling good.
I love that. Cool. Okay, I have a question for you. So last thing, which is very important for me. How can anyone watching this video take your information and be able to receive more energy, if that makes sense? So you spoke a lot about how we can use it to spot it in different situations, how we can avoid energy and be able to look at good situations and bad situations based on energy. But how can one fill himself more with more energy, more high vibration? I'll tell you where I'm going with this. For example, yesterday I did one of your meditations. I started with a breath, and then I went to this meditation course, and I happened to actually measure my brain waves. So I have a Muse device. I'm not a scientist, so I can't say how accurate it is, but clearly through the breath, you could see my brain waves especially the delta frequency, are going very high up. So what I'm quickly going to do, I'm quickly going to share my screen just so everyone can understand it. Should be able to see it. Let's go this way. Oops, there we go. So here you can see during the red line is the delta, and that's the part where I was doing the breath, and clearly the device saw an intense in delta frequencies. And after doing the breath, I can feel intense amounts of happiness and peace, and the voice in my head is quiet down, and it feels that energy is cleared when I do such a practice. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about how one can clear his trauma, maybe clear his low vibration, his negative energy, and get filled with more positive energy so that he can be more at peace and feel happier, because that's helped me the most personally. And I think some people might benefit from that too.
Okay. Well, first thing you need to know is to be able to identify the frequencies. So there's a lot to energy awareness training. It's not just learning a technique. It's not just getting a piece of information. If I could teach people the process in one session, that'd be great. But that's why I call it a training. It's a training for you to be able to see things in a new way, to be able to understand things in a new way, and to be able to process and proactively take action on that information. So to start with, we have multiple energies going on inside us, and most of it is below our ability to recognize it. And yet it's influencing us. So the way you know that is if you're doing things that you know aren't good for you, if you've got habits that you continue going and you know you shouldn't be doing, but you keep doing it anyway, and or you don't do the things that you know will help you or will get you on the goals that you set, when you know that that's happening, that's very clear that you've got what I call low vibration or sabotage energies inside us, okay, or inside you. And that's the first recognition of it. So when people come to study energy awareness training, kind of like what you did, you started with level 1, and you got the basics understanding, and then you went into level 2 where we started doing more applications. Now your boss studied with me, wanted me to teach him personally, and I'm happy to do that for people who are serious and really want to learn this, to teach a one-on-one coaching. So you can learn one-on-one coaching with me. You can go through the different modules. There's all kinds of stuff. We have YouTube channels, and I'm on all the social media. So I give a lot of information out on energy awareness training, and I'm giving it to the piece. But I recommend if somebody wants to learn this, that they first of all make a decision. Whoa, I want to be energetically aware. I want to learn how to use my energy. I want to learn how to clear my unwanted emotions. I want to know how to deal with that crazy negative voice in my head, etc. And then you start learning the processes. And the processes start again with me realizing that of all these energies, there's hundreds of energies influencing us, but they come under one of 2 headings. Okay, so this will help you greatly. There's one energy which I call a high vibratory, high frequency energy. I'll just call it high vibration energy. And that energy is an energy that we want. It's happiness, it's joy, it's peace, it's abundance, it's blessings. It's all the good things in life. Okay? Now, there's another energy that's the opposite of that. And I call it low frequency or low vibration energy. And that energy is about anxiety, stress, worry, doubt, fear, all the stuff that we don't want. Now, with these energies are all around us and influencing us constantly. That's why you get inspired sometimes. One of the things I talk about is the beginning of the year, people say, I want to get in shape. I want to get in shape. I want to lose weight, etc. So one of these energies, the high vibration energy, yeah, you could lose weight. You could get in shape, be super healthy, you know, feeling good. That'd be great. That's a positive high vibration energy goal. So you're like, oh, okay. And you start working out and you start eating right, etc. And for a couple of weeks, you know, you're working your program. But then another energy comes up, and an energy that says, do I really want to work out today? Do I really want to stay on this diet? Why don't I just eat this whole pie and I'll start my diet next week, or I'll go to the gym tomorrow. So in other words, you've got another force that's trying to take you away. You've got one force that wanted you to be better. You've got another force that doesn't want you to do that. And hence we have so much energetic tug of war going on inside us. And no one that I've seen teaches you how to deal with that. It's just, you know, I guess that's the way it is. Well, it's not. If you become energetically trained, you learn how to disconnect that low vibration energy that wants to sabotage you, that wants to pull you away from what you want. And you learn to accelerate the high vibration energy that wants all the best for you, that wants you to have a great life. Now, the training is part of a process where we do two things. We clean and clear our low vibration energy, and we draw down more high vibrational energy. So we're doing two things. Now, like a lot of people talk about meditation. Meditation is a great thing. The difference between what we do and regular meditation is, for the average person, when they want to go meditate, they go and do their mantra or their breathing, whatever, and they go into a high state and they're feeling good and they're one with the world, etc. But remember, we all have energetic baggage, and we all have low vibration energy too. So what happens when I'm through meditating and I come back down into my body? I'm coming back down into that low vibration energy if it's still there. So one of the things that we do is we teach it's important to get the low vibration energy out on a daily basis. That's why I teach daily training methods on how to identify and how to shift the energy patterns from low vibration energy into high vibration energy. Now, it's just like your body. You know, we have a physical body and we have an energetic body, the law of duality. You know, there's a polarity. So if you have an up, you have a down. If you have a left, you have a right. If you have a good, you have a bad. If you're right, wrong. Polarity. So we have a physical body. The other polarity is we have a non-physical body, which I call the energetic body. And our physical bodies get dirty every day. You know, we go out, we work out, and we go in the sun, we get sweaty. So what happens? We got to clean this body. We've got to clean it so it's fresh and we can do our activities. It's the same thing with the energetic body. Our energetic bodies every day catch anxiety, stress, worry, fear, thoughts. You know, and half of our thoughts, you know, a lot of times are low vibration energy. Every time we worry, like if I go, oh, did I lock the front door? Oh, or did I leave the stove on? Oh. Every time I have a thought that stresses me out, it catches in my energetic body, just like sweat for my physical body. So what we teach in energy awareness training is the ability to start cleaning that body, to start cleaning it and moving the energy. And when you move the energy, it's like water. If I have a glass here and I pour water in it and I leave it here for a week, it stays clean. So when our energy is moving and it stays clean, we're in high vibrational energy. When our energy is not moving, when we're stuck, when we're stuck in our head or we feel things aren't going well, the energy is blocked. And that happens to all of us every day. So just like we need to take a physical shower every day, we need to clean our energies every day in order to keep them fresh, in order to keep the energy flowing. And that's what we teach you how to do.
I love that. Amazing. Perfect. Cool. Now, one last question before we close it up. Could you please, like, if you never saw any, well, you're never going to see them, but if anyone never saw you again, so if it was the last thing they heard from you, what would be one last piece of advice you would give them? And please also end it up with, for those who are interested, how can they pursue energy awareness training? Where can they find you? What courses you have available? Your channels, are you more active? So these two questions. So one piece of advice, and then where can we follow up with you?
That's a great question. Well, these are great questions. What I would share with someone, I would share this. There's so much more going on in life than you realize. There's a whole nother world of understanding, of insight, of opportunity that you can't see, that we were never taught, but it's all around us, and it's the energetic worlds. And the energetic worlds are an understanding and being able to move energy, becoming energetically educated, will move your life forward like nothing else you've ever seen, because you're opening up a whole new world of understanding, of perception, of creativity, of being able to see things in a whole new realm that are good for you, and that it's possible, no matter how much you suffered or what you're going through or where you're at right now, that can totally change. No matter how bad it is, it can totally change. And if you're someone whose life's going, my life's going okay, it's like, but if you want to know what is available for you, what your full potential is, then I recommend studying energy awareness training, becoming energetically aware. Because no matter what you're doing in this life, relationships, you're gonna have to deal with energy. Money, you're gonna have to deal with energy. Career, health, it's all around us. And if you don't know about it, you're gonna be limited to what I call the three-dimensional realm. So you're only gonna be basically seeing 10 to 20% of reality. Whereas if you're connected to the full dimension, that's what science is, by the way. Science in string theory, Brian Greene and Michio Kaku talk about there being 10 dimensions of reality, that we live in a 10-dimensional, maybe even more reality, but we can only access through our normal channels 3 dimensions. Well, if you do the math on that, that means that we're not seeing roughly 70 to 80% of what's going on. And if we don't, imagine if we're able to see even another 10 or 20%, holy smokes, our whole lives would change. So this opportunity to become energetically aware and to be able to see things and know things and have just a real added advantage in life is available to everyone. So I would say, run, don't walk, study any energy awareness training, and whatever you're doing, and whatever you want, it's going to lift it up and take it to the next level. That's what I thought.
I love that. And how can we study energy awareness training? Where can we follow you? Okay.
If somebody wants to write me personally, my email is energytitan@gmail. energytitan@gmail.com. A lot of people usually have questions or want information on how to study with me or get private coaching. energytitan@gmail.com. We have a YouTube channel that you can check out our videos on under energy awareness training. We have a site called energyawareness-secrets.com. energyawareness-secrets.com. So those are probably the 3 ways people can check me out. You can email me, go on the YouTube channel, or
Instagram too, right?
And take a look at that. Sorry?
And on Instagram too, of course. Energy awareness training.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Yeah.
Energy awareness training everywhere. Anywhere you type it, it should show up normally.
And we're continuing to grow. What's happening with this is that there's been such a great response. Energy awareness can enhance anything, whether it's sports, whether it's marriage, whether it's business, whether it's health, because everything you're dealing with is energy. So the more energetically aware you get, the more you're going to be able to take things to a whole new level. And that's what's exciting about it. Plus, I get to meet great guys like you, Pete. So, hey, it's not delay.
Great stuff. Perfect. Good. So I hope everyone enjoyed. Hope everyone got some good value out of that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to message Glenn personally, Energy Awareness Training on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you can't find his username, feel free to message me. I will send it for you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll be staying in touch very, very soon. Glenn, appreciate you. Thank you for the knowledge, and we'll be staying in touch.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for this opportunity. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.